Hydroxychloroquine, Jesuits powder. And not that everyone is saying that we are just always after the Jesuit. We will just prove you right away that we didn't invent anything, and it's not what we were looking for when we were looking into this medication everyone is talking about. Is it useful? Does it work? Does it not work? And we go into this. But before that, we already exposed that in the video in April on the corona lie. If it's not there anymore, you can also watch the other videos that were censored on our webpage. But we go right into the hydroxychloroquine, the whole controversy where some say it works and others say it doesn't work. And we will prove you why it doesn't work for what they think it should work. But hydroxychloroquine is like an extension for the chloroquine for people who have this malaria, and we watch also what malaria probably not is. So, but it is a medication used since a while already, mostly the chloroquine. And if we watch what chloroquine really comes from, we just watch into the history. Yeah, in Peru, the indigenous people extract the bark of the quincoa tree and used extract to fight chills and fever in the 70 centuries. Okay, so here we have it, the quincoa, and if we watch here, certain fever, South America known as Jesuit bark and Jesuit powder have been traced to quincoa. So the story of the Jesuits, and we're very proud of their powder. What is it? Is it have different names before it comes to the Jesuit powder and the chloroquine. But the interesting part is here in the Middle Ages, when malaria means Italian for bad air, mal-aria. Because from stagnated water to the first recorded effective treatment using powdered quincoa bark in 70 centuries. So we are not talking about a mosquito. That's the interesting part. So just go into a little bit into the story, how they came, the Jesuits came to this. It was because Pope Urban had personal reason for wanting a cure. So he sent someone for this illness. So they went to Peru and watched what indigenous people did and used. Well, that's the story of hydrochloroquine. But the interesting part now is that they call it the fever tree. Are we really talking about, even with malaria, we're talking about bad air? We are not talking about mosquito. So again, they are making cures or stuff against fever, because this is the plant. You use the bark, you make this powder, and if you have this powder, we have a corona lie. Because if you watch the symptoms about malaria, yeah, high temperature, feeling hot and shivery, this is when you have fever, headache, also vomiting if it gets more muscle. We know all this when you have fever. So, and the COVID fever, dry cough, they just extend a little bit the description. Less common symptoms, serious symptoms. But this is all fever symptoms, just described a little bit more. So what are we really talking about? Now, everyone was talking about this controversial person with his skull and bones ring, yeah. And Well, the question is to ask why, if the Jesuits are they on the good side or on the bad side? Well, the thing is that Jesuit is a military organization and they play always on both sides. So what best to make controversies, to make on one side to create the virus and on the other side to create the controversy about the medication they already had themselves. They just want that people shoot on heads, yeah, but they have the multiple head. And they are all in the same goal. They just have different ways to go there. And so they trick from both sides. So people catch one or the other side, but they are all going in the same direction. That's why Trump is also in this coup. And this is the whole distraction they want to make. So also, just a question about this whole malaria stuff, yeah? Bad air, yeah, wet air. This is what people get fever in it, because the body starts to struggle. We go too deeper into that in a longer video about health. But this is how far they go with this whole stupidness to even create malaria-resistant mosquitoes. But there we are today, in a kind of complete mess with people who just screaming around on one or the other side, defend this kind of medication, who had even sulfide in it. And the whole question is, if a medication against fever works, where's the virus? That's the whole thing. And that's why they don't want to make this medication work, because if this medication works, it's just a fever. Thanks for watching.